This is Cincinnati People.
A peek into the creative and curious side of Cincinnati.
From food to fun, entertainment, and so much more.
You'll find it right here.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another great episode of Cincinnati People. Lauren Artino here with Betsy Ross. Betsy, we just got to kick this off. Not only do we have a very busy summer, you've had a very exciting summer because Betsy was recently awarded and honored with the Silver Circle Award, just honoring all your time in TV and news and broadcasting. What does it feel like?
Well, it was very humbling to be among so many people that I've worked with for so many years, to be able to have this award. But I've said many times that it's not one person's award, because none of us in this business, as you know, works in a vacuum. We all have producers and photographers and so many people who help us along the way. And I'm just honored to have been in the business for this long and to spend most of my career right here in my home area of Cincinnati. You know, not too many of us in this business get to do most of our work in our home area. And so I've been very fortunate to be able to do that.
I love that. It's so special. We wanted to give you guys a peek inside the evening Betsy was honored. Here you go.
I always say that, and it's such a cliche, but if you see it, you can be it. If you see it, you can achieve it. If you see someone who looks like you doing what you want to do, then it becomes real. It becomes something that you think that you can actually accomplish. For me, besides Phyllis George, it was Jane Pauley. Jane Pauley on the Today Show. Jane Pauley was from Indianapolis. She's a Hoosier, just like me. And she went from Indianapolis to Chicago, and then she went to network. And I always use her as an example. Well, you know, Jane Pauley's from Indiana. I'm from Indiana. I can do it too. And it's a little naive, but there's a lot of truth to it. If someone who looks like you is doing what you want to do, then it makes it, in your mind, very achievable. If she can do it, then I can do it too.
I'm Jerry Springer, and tonight I am honored to introduce my former WLWT Channel 5 colleague, Betsy Ross, as the Silver Circle honoree, one of the most prestigious awards our industry bestows upon a journalist. Betsy and I shared the anchor desk at Channel 5 in Cincinnati during the early 90s. Along with Norma Rashid, Greg Hord, Pat Berry, and myself. And frankly, if she deserves an award for anything, it might be having survived working with us at Channel 5. It's not easy to stay in this business a long time. I managed to do it through luck, but Betsy managed to do it through talent. She really is the whole package. And I can't wait to see what she decides to do next. How about Judge Betsy? It's got a nice ring to it.
Thank you so much. I certainly appreciate being here and having all of you here as well. At this time in our society and this time in our nation, we need good journalists, truth tellers, responsible communicators, maybe more now in our history than ever before, because we are here tonight to celebrate our careers and our accomplishments. But let's don't ever forget that right behind us, is this next generation. And this next generation will take over our industry. Let's make sure that they are prepared, that they keep our business strong, resolved, and respected. And if you don't remember anything else tonight, except for Jerry Springer, if you don't remember anything else tonight, remember those words from Billie Jean King. Pay it forward and pass it on. Thank you so much.
For me, it's like the name says, it's a welcoming for all the immigrant people, all the well, it's a welcome into the Cincinnati area and the community.
Community, that's what they're building here at the Welcome Project in Camp Washington. Inside, you'll find an art gallery with an ever-changing list of creators, locally made goods, recipes, resources, and most importantly, conversations.
Soup stories is mostly how people overcome like difficulty and maybe tragedy or something like that, and how you can be reborn after the tragical incident.
That is another way where we can connect with community members. We become friends, you know, and they tell us what it is that they need, or sometimes if they give us suggestions, they come in to say hello. It has created so many bridges.
On this particular day, Soup and Stories is being held. Free lunch is served, and you'll listen as a guest speaker shares their story. You don't have to sign up or come regularly, just walk right in. And it wouldn't be Soup and Stories without the soup. Letty Sanchez handles that part.
I cook Mexican food. I'm from Mexico. I have been living here for 6 years now. And I like to make everything from scratch, like the traditional way that it's made in Mexico. I have been cooking like traditional dishes as pozole. Met a lot of nice people here that are open and willing to try new food, new culture. So for me, it's a way to share my background, my culture, my family, history.
And Soup and Stories is just one of the many ways the Welcome Project works to empower Cincinnati's refugee and immigrant population. The organization builds and strengthens these bonds through its weekly and monthly outreach programs, including mock citizenship interviews, monthly dinners held at neighborhood community centers, and so much more.
We sponsor the free fridge that it's outside. And we also have the food drive that happens every second Tuesday of each month.
Well, you here you can see like people from around the world. Like you become to meet people that it's from a country that you never imagined, or a culture that it's so different than yours. But at the same time, it's the same. Like food and good moments. It's what we unite us all.
Yeah, I love what they've got going on there at the Welcome Project. That's right along Colerain Avenue off of Hopple. Easy to find them there in Camp Washington. And they partner a lot with their neighbors. Right next door is Wavepool Art Center. And speaking of arts, guys, we have no shortage of artists, creatives in the tri-state area. We caught up with really a handful of them over the past few weeks. Wanted to bring you some of those stories.
Look how cool this is. I went with my daughter to a Goodwill store. She was looking for some vintage clothing, and I saw a chair there that needed a little love. You know, the wood needed to be refinished and just cleaned up in general. I think they were asking like $5 for it, and I had free weekends since our kids were older then. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take this home and clean it up and see if I can sell it. And sure enough, I brought it home, renovated it, put it online, sold it really quickly for a little bit of a profit, and away we went. It grew from there, from one single chair. This is a full-time business now. I started it 6 years ago as a side hustle. I spent a little over 30 years in the corporate world, most of it in the healthcare field. I was doing this on weekends and evenings, and as it just grew and grew and grew, I realized that, hey, this is something that I'm really, really interested in. I think I'm good at it. I think I can do this full time and make a career out of it. And 3 years ago is when I pulled the trigger and made it a full-time, occupation. Probably the growth where I really experienced the most growth for my company is once they started an Instagram page through help of my kids, helped me set one up. Very simple. Yeah. And what I like about Instagram is you only follow the things that interest you. So if you're into mid-century modern, you're probably going to find me on there just due to the number of followers. I typically pop up first on your search. So I've never really felt the urge or need to have a retail store. I'm not opposed to it, but for right now, I just don't have to do it. Since it's just me, it's too much of a time commitment, because I'm out sourcing materials and I'm refinishing them and selling. So yeah, my time is, at a premium right now. But it is true that if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I spend more time on this than I ever did in the corporate world just because I love it so much, and I can't, I've got the bug. It's kind of the thrill of the hunt for me, never knowing what you're going to find, and then restoring pieces to what they would have looked like when they were new, and just seeing my customers to kind of smile on their face when they see something and they say, this is a perfect piece, we've been looking for this forever. We really appreciate the work you've done on it. So it's very rewarding. Yeah, there's a lot of interest in mid-century modern, and it's all age groups. I get asked quite a bit, like, what's your typical profile of your followers? And they're really, it's across the board. Women make up a big majority. I think it was close to 75% are women that follow me, but it's all the ages. It's young people that realize the quality of these pieces. They may have been shopping at IKEA for a number of years and realize, like, hey, this stuff doesn't last. We like the style, but we want something that's going to last us a little bit longer than a few years. Then they kind of morph into the mid-century modern design because it is very well made, and it's very simple style. It goes with everything, and it's practical too. I think Cincinnati, having kind of that blue-collar background, with the industries that were here, people really took care of things, and they didn't throw things away. I have so many houses I go into where the family tells me that either their parents or grandparents got this furniture when they got married, and they still have it, and they were married in the 50s and 60s, and they just took care of things back then. They just, they really did. So there's a lot of pieces out there. It's just, a matter of, takes time to find them. And again, it's just only me, so I don't have a problem finding these things because I've got time, but it's just fun because of the history. I love finding unique pieces. When I leave the house in the morning, I'm never looking for specific pieces. I do keep a list of items that people may be looking for, and if I happen to see them, I'll reach out to them and let them know I found something and if this would work. But I just love them all. They're just so different. And I think, as you can tell looking around here, I like finding different things, unusual things that you don't see everywhere else. And, I treat them as if I were going to keep them. So they have to be in beautiful condition, working condition, something I would put in my home, if my wife liked mid-century modern.
So our teen think tank is a collaborative design tank for teens. It's a space to kind of elevate teens in their skills to become designers and makers and creators of community events. How this space got created is in May 2021. I met with a group of teens, about 7 teens online, and we used a research method to kind of talk about kind of community needs. And a community need that came forward in this facilitation was the need for a safe space. We got to work and we found this garage space, and I gave them a budget, and so we got some financial literacy going, and I was like, okay, you have this budget, and what you'll see is everything in the space was intentionally thought and purchased and from the teens.
It's been really good on my mental health, simply because it's a really creative space where you come here and the energy is just always so great, like coming here and being able to connect with your peers and create cool things, and just even if you need somebody to talk to, Allie Joe's always there to just talk to them about how you feel. So I've come in here multiple times feeling not so great, and I leave with a whole new energy, a whole new set of ideas, and it just helps me creatively and it helps me mentally.
We have a big event that we've been working on since, I think, January. It's called Trashin'. It is an upcycle fashion show. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. The teens were really inspired by COVID-19 and the issues that they're struggling with as a teen identity. And so they took that kind of grief and kind of struggle of COVID and where they are as kind of teens, and looking at kind of how can they create an immersive space that is thinking really intentionally of environmental sustainability and do that in a creative way.
So they're collecting tons of trash and items and upcycling them into this kind of immersive fashion art explosion called Trashin'. First time ever doing a Trashin' event. We have done other beautiful, large-scale, immersive events that have pulled lots of teens in our community for. So the teens that we work with that are part of our teen think tank know how to design immersive and fun and creative experiences that are joyful and a little weird and get you out of your comfort zone, but then also make you feel really safe and comfortable. And
it's really easy to get involved with us. I think you just have to reach out to Allie Joe and honestly just come with an open mind and just think outside of the box and come up with cool ideas, and usually they're going to be doable, so just shoot an idea and it probably will happen, yeah.
This is the showroom, and there are 25 prisms, so they're spread throughout the conservatory. They're almost every room. But here in the showroom, in the Science of Color exhibit, we have educational component explaining the natural pigments and the flowers and bird feathers and butterfly wings and things like that. And we have a garden kaleidoscope. We had seen a picture of it. And there's a facility maintenance guy that we showed the picture to, and he said, "Oh, I can make that." I was, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I used to be an artist." And he did it. And not only did he make one, he made two. And they're all at different heights, the prisms, which he made out of copper pipes with optics because, you know, he does plumbing. So it was a natural thing for him. And it worked, and they're stunning. They turned out so well. And really, I think there was only one other in the world, and we just had a picture of it, and he replicated it. It turned out so well. And then we have an ultraviolet box, and that shows what pollinators like bees and butterflies see when they approach a flower, because they can see ultraviolet light that we cannot see. So we put a black light into a box, and we have little viewing ports, and that allows people to see flowers from the perspective of a pollinator. When my designer came up with the concept of the show, she said she wanted to have a big tall prism to radiate the colors out. And I said, "Oh, that's a neat idea," but we couldn't find it. So I went back to her and I said, "Where did you learn of this?" She pulled it up on the internet. So, well, there it is, let's get that. And she said, "No, you can't get that. It's part of this traveling exhibit. It goes all around the world." But I called them up, and they're in another country where they speak French, and it was like they had to look up Cincinnati. They didn't know much about us. And after a little discussion, they said, "Well, we'll check our schedule." And I kind of thought that was indecisive. I didn't like that. So I called them back every week for 2 months. And I said, "Let me tell you about Cincinnati. We're directly comparable to these big cities that you go to. We have a lot of international components here." And every week for about 2 months, and finally they said, "Okay, we'll come." And it's here. And there's 25 of these prisms here. And they're so unusual, but they fit in very well with all the plants because the color of the flowers, the color of the prisms, and they are amazing because during the day, they reflect and refract a lot of the sunlight into different colors. But at night, when the sun goes down, they're illuminated inside, and so they show these different colors. And we're open till 8 o'clock. So it's a really unique date.
Hope you guys enjoyed those segments. We really had so much fun shooting those out and around the tri-state. We're going to continue to do that, and it's a lot to look forward to. In addition to a lot to look forward to, Betsy, we've got the LPGA coming to town in just a few weeks. Kenwood Country Club. This is a massive event, and it's going to draw, gosh, thousands, tens of thousands of people, right?
There are so many LPGA fans who are here in this area, and it's been more than 30 years since the LPGA has been here. Some of the veteran fans might remember when it was the LPGA Championship, and they played for many years out at Kings Island. Well, this time we're going to see the next generation of LPGA stars, and it's going to be so exciting to have them back here in Cincinnati at Kenwood Country Club. Here's more information.
The LPGA is back. For the first time in more than 30 years, the LPGA returns to Cincinnati for the Kroger Queen City Championship presented by P&G. Don't miss your chance to see the world's best players at Kenwood Country Club September 8th through 11th. Visit QueenCityLPGA.com to volunteer and buy your tickets today.
Betsy, I can't wait for that. I'm not gonna lie, I already have my outfits picked out. I know we're working it, but it's gonna be such a great event. So many huge names, as you mentioned, and we're gonna have a sneak peek into Media Day the next week that you see our show here at Cincinnati People. It's gonna be a nice look into what you can expect for the full day.
And I think that a lot of people have not been able to go to an LPGA event in quite some time. Again, because it's been more than 30 years since it's been here in town. And so there are so many new stars on the tour, and I think so many people will just want to meet these players, want to get to know them. Media Day is going to be a great way to do that, and of course, tickets are still available, so make sure that you check out that as well. We'll have more information on that when we talk about Media Day.
Yes, all right, Betsy, that's going to be so much fun. Cannot wait for the Queen City Championship. You can find all of that information and so much more right now on our Cincinnati People socials. Until then, we'll see you guys on the 25th.